Okay, now let's move on to the bottom. Here we go. 27 raised to 4/3. 27 raised to 4/3. Okay, be ready with your calculators again. Alright, so let's rewrite this in calculator ready form. Can you tell me what the base is? What should I put under the radical sign? In the chat pod. 27. Very good, Shalia. What's my index? Very good, Evelyn. What's my index? Okay, I know I'm beginning to use those vocabulary words. Tell me what my index is. 3. Good job, Anna. Okay, now what's my exponent? I don't want to put the exponent outside the parentheses. What's my exponent? 4. Very good. Okay, use your calculator. Get me the answer. Oh, wow, you got it already. That was fast. Okay. Yes, that's awesome, Anna and Emily. 81. Okay, maybe you're wondering, okay, miss, how can you do that in your head? Yeah, you actually can. Let's say, for example, the cube root of 27 means, oh, 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. So the cube root is 3, right? So this whole thing is 3. And then I have to raise 3 to the 4th power. So I go 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27 times 3 is 81. So you can do that in your head even without a calculator. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Who among you started on the puzzle last time? Why did the mother skunk take her baby to see the doctor? When you do the puzzle, you can actually write your answers over here. Yeah? Okay, you can type like a whole text box right here so you can, write down the letters. If this is letter A and that's like letter, letter C, etc. Okay, so you can do that. Yeah? Okay, let's look at some of the examples in the puzzle that we just work on right now. Let me see. Let's try, can I zoom in? Okay, let's try number 13. Find the answer to number 13. How would you do that? So for number 13, you have 64 raised to 5 over 6. So this means you're getting the 6th root of 64, and then you're raising that to the 5th power. I finished the puzzle, but now when I went to look for it, I think it somehow got deleted. Oh no! Why are you guys deleting your work? You can copy the puzzle from my notebook, honey. You go to the red folder all the way up, and then you click on the puzzle. You click on the puzzle like this. It will show you those little dots on the side. You click Control C and then Control V on your notebook. Try so that you'll know how to do it next time. If it doesn't let you, or if you get confused, just let me know. I can do that for you in a little bit. Okay, so tell me what the answer here is. What is the square root of 64? And then you raise it to the 5th power. Emily said 32. Do we even see a 32 in the choices? Yes, you have a 32 over here. So that means in the puzzle, number 13 is letter F. So this is F. Okay. Is it easy? Are you getting it? How do I erase this one? My thing is acting up. Okay, let's try again. Let's try again. Oh, how do you do this? 18. That looks complicated. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's see, for example, I got 16 over 625. There you go, right? And we're raising it to 3/4. There you go. Hi, Miss Sandy.
Hi, Miss Arciaga. I'm trying to get a student in. Don't mind me. Hello, everyone.
Okay. Thank you. I also shared the job aid that you sent to us last time. I don't know if they're like letting them in. Yeah.
Hopefully. If not, they can email me. I have somebody on the line right now, so don't mind me. I'm apologize for interrupting. Hello, everyone.
It's okay. Thank you. All right. So you have 16/25. Now you can break that down, right? Okay. So let's split the numerator and let's raise it to the power 3/4. Okay. And then at the bottom, you're going to write this down. So 6/25. And then you're going to raise it to the power 3/4. Okay. So now let's break that up and make it into a calculator ready form. Are you ready with your decimals? So for the top one, can you tell me what the base is for the numerator? So what's the base for 16 raised to 3/4? In the chat pod, please. What's the base? Just for the top. Okay, for this guy right here. Oh, I can see you already got the answer, honey. Like, what's the base so I can change it to a calculator ready form? What's the base right here? 16. Okay. And now your index is 4, right? And your exponent is 3. Are we supposed to be writing this down on paper? The puzzle is in your OneNote. If you want, yes, I strongly suggest you write the work down on your paper. So if you get confused, at least you have something to refer to. And I'm also screencasting this, remember? So you could just watch the video in Schoology if you're missing something or if you get logged off. Okay, so then that's going to be to the third power. Okay, and then at the bottom, can somebody help me at the bottom? What's the base? What am I going to write under the radical sign? What's the base? 625. Very good, Emily. Okay, and then the index is 4. Your exponent is 3. Okay, so now help me up. I ran out of space. Okay, so in your calculator, help me with this. You find the 4/3 of 16, and then you're going to raise it to the third power. I think Emily got that one already, right, Emily? Yeah, okay, 8. So the top, the numerator is 8. Now let's do the bottom. Help me out. Type in the chat pod. Emily said 125. If you agree, you gotta type the same answer in the chat pod or share what you got in your calculator. If you agree with Emily, type the same thing in the chat pod or write what you got in your calculator. Samantha and Shalia said 125. Let's have 2 more people to agree and then we're convinced. All right, Evelyn. One more. One more to verify. Oh, we're stuck. We need one more person to verify. Is it really 125? One more in the chat pod, you guys. Thanks, Anna. All right, so 125. Now, do we see this among the answer choices? If you do see it, tell me what letter it is. All right, letter O. So number 18 is letter O. All right, do we understand how to do our homework? Do we understand how to do our homework? Is there anything else on that puzzle piece that you want me to go over right now before we switch to the next item on our agenda? Wait, don't erase. Okay. 20. Emily said 20. Sure, honey. Okay. Kyle, let me know when you're done because I gotta erase the red ink. I don't have space, honey. May I erase, Kyle? Awesome. Okay. All right. So Emily said 20. All right. So number 20 is 1 over 81 raised to 1 over 4. Okay, so do you want us to write this on a physical notebook? That's faster than if you write everything on one note, honey. But if you're answering the puzzle at the bottom, you have to like enter the answer to the puzzle question. You can write down the letters of your answers here at the bottom. Like you can double click and then you just type whatever over there. Okay? Just type the numbers or the letters. Yes, honey. You want to go to the restroom? Okay, go, honey. But you have to do your Zoom. Okay, you can't bring your Zoom to the restroom. Let's go to the restroom first. Okay. All right, so here we go. So 1 over. All right. Let's do the 81 raised to 1 over 4 first. The base is 81, right? And then the index is 4. The exponent is 1. So what am I doing? If you see like several fractions in one problem, you take it one fraction at a time. Okay? Okay. So, all right. So you have to. Did you hear my kiddo? She said she has to go to the restroom, but she also needs to do a turtle for Zoom. That's funny. Okay. Sorry. All right. So fourth root of 81. So somebody help me. What's the fourth root of 81? What's the fourth root of 81? 3. Okay, but that 3 will only go to the bottom, okay? So don't think that the whole answer is 3 because I have a 1 on top, yeah? So 1/3. Do we see 1/3 in the choices? Look for it. My eyes are hurting me. So what is it? What letter is that? Letter R. Yes. So letter or number 20 is R. Okay. So I hope I helped you with that, honey. Yep. Okay. So I think there's a lot of numbers in the puzzle given away already. So, are there any questions, particularly on how to use your calculator to simplify rational exponents? I'll give you some wait time. If you don't have any questions, go ahead and click on your next page for me in your OneNote. And can you tell me if I pushed this page to you already? Okay, you should see something like this. Let me know if you do. If you don't, let me know so I can push the page to you. Okay, question. Do we write this on OneNote? Do we write it on a piece of paper? Some, I think we can do on OneNote. We'll see. And then I'll tell you when to switch again, to switch back to your paper. Okay, you guys ready? So what is our end goal for today? So we're talking about exponential functions. Exponential functions. Okay. What are exponential functions? Have you heard your parents talk about credit cards and their bills on their credit cards? Type yes in the chat if you have. Have you heard your parents talk about bills or credit cards? You know, when you went, when was the last time you went shopping and then you used your mom's or your dad's credit card? Or maybe you heard your parents talk about, you know, investing money in a certain bank or maybe getting a loan from a bank. Okay, do you know that credit card companies and banks as well, they charge interest, okay? And when we say interest, those values like increase so fast. Okay, sometimes you get 25% 1 month on a credit card bill. You know, we're going to look at one scenario on Monday, okay, in which we guys are going to compare two rental companies, and one is charging at an exponential rate. Okay, but before we do that, we have to know first what exponential is. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the parent exponential function. In other words, the most basic. Okay, you ready to draw? Maybe we could use a text box for the box, right? For the table of values. Okay, let's see here. Make a text box right here. All right, and let's enter our answers. Okay, you ready? If I raise 2 to the 0 power, what's my answer? What is 2 to the 0 power? If you want to verify your answer, you have your decimals on one screen or window, right? So what is 2 to the 0th power? If you want to see that written out, I could also write over here. So what is 2 to the 0? In other words, what is the value of y when we plug in 0 for x? In the chat pod, please. Undefined. Okay. If you agree, write undefined. If not, type another answer. If you agree, if you also got undefined, you're going to type the same thing in the chat or write down the other answer you got. Let's think about that one more time. So what is 2 to the 0? Okay, well, we can go back to that later on. What is 2 to the first power? How about that? That I'm sure you guys can answer in your head. So what is 2 to the first power? Anyone? So we're going to skip the first entry for now. Let's go to the middle. What is 2 to the first power? 2. Very good. Okay. 2. Good job. Let's move on. What is 2 to the second power? What does that mean again? You're multiplying 2 by itself 2 times, or you can also use your decimals calculator. So what is 2 to the second power? In the chat pod, please. You can also do it in your head. 2 to the second power means 2 times 2. 4. Very good. Next one. What is 2 to the third power? If you want to do it in your head, that means you're going to times 2 by itself 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2 again. 6. If you agree with 6, type 6 in the chat pod. If you don't, give me another answer. 8. So now we have to decide whether it's 6 or 8. So another said 8. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. All right, so remember, we do not add 2 3 times. We multiply 2 by itself 3 times, so 8. What's the last one? What's the last one? 2 to the fourth power. I ran out of space. I'm going to put it over here. 2 to the fourth power. 2 times 2 times another 2 times another 2. 32. You guys agree with 32? If you agree, type 32. If you don't, then type your answer. Excuse me. You agree with 32? If you don't, type in another answer. 16. So now which is which? Well, let's try. 2 times 2 is 4. But we have to do it 4 times total, right? Times 2 again was 8. We got that previously. So 8 times 2, 16. So the answer here is 16. But we missed something, right? Okay. So we missed something over here. We skipped the first one, remember? So let's go back to that and figure out the answer. Can you look at the pattern? By how much are the numbers growing? Can you describe in the chat pod like how the y values are changing? Maybe that could help us work backwards and find the one that we skipped earlier. Oops, sorry, in the chat. Okay. All right. So what are we trying to do again? We're trying to figure out the item we skipped earlier, right here at the very beginning. Okay, so I'll give you some think time. Can you tell me what's going on with these numbers? How much are they growing? Hi, Hannah. How are you? Good morning, honey. We are on the OneNote, so let me know if you remember where to find your OneNote. And we are on this page of our notebook right here. Okay, how do I get into that again? On your Schoology, right? You go all the way down, and then you gotta see OneNote class notebook. Uh-huh. All right. Click on that one. Shalia. Hi, Shalia. You said it's times 2 each time. Good job, honey. So if we use that logic and work backwards, what should be my first answer here? If you use that logic and find or work backwards, like what should be the value of y when x is 0? 0. Let's try that, Luis. If I put 0 here, oh, if I put 0 here and then I times it by 2, according to Shalia, is 0 times 2, 2? What do you think? 1. Very good, very good, very good. So let's erase that thingy. So this should be 1, right? Why? Because any number, I think we forgot that rule from last time. Any number, regardless of, whether it's small or big, if you raise it to 0, it's still 1. If I have like 1 million, okay, raised to the 0th power, that's still 1. Okay? How do I go to that page you're in? Okay, give me a quick second. I gotta erase this one. Once you're in the notebook, you gotta click on week 4, honey. Oh, click on your name first. So you gotta click, where's Hannah? Here, you gotta click on your name to show all your weekly tabs. You click on week 4. By default, it goes to untitled page. Okay? And then we're looking at exponential functions. Okay? So just click on these pages right here. It's like when you flip from one page to another. Okay, so going back to mine. Awesome. All right. Oh, of course, I erased all the things that I wrote down earlier. Oh, they're here. Okay, so anything raised to 0 is 1, right? Now let's explain what's happening over here. So double click so you can write in this cloud over here. All right. So as x increases, by how much? Can you tell me by how much x is going up or down by? Excuse me. By how much is your x going up or down? Look at your x column. You start at 0, and then you go to 1, you go to 2, you go to 3, you go to 4. So by how much are you increasing them? In the chat pod, please. By how much are your x? Okay. Oh, we will write that one later, honey. For the y value. But I'm writing here like as the x increases by how much? Because we're trying to explain what's happening in the table of values. So by how much do your x increase? Excuse me. By 1. All right, so as x increases by 1, So Emily said the y values are actually powers of 2, right? So the y values, okay, okay, the y values also increase, okay, by a power of 2, very good, or by a factor of 2. That's cool. So the y values also increase by a factor of 2. I wanna write what Emily put in the chat earlier, power of 2, if that will help you remember that one. Okay. Alrighty. You can make this one bigger also if you want to, or you can do the editing later on. Okay. Right. Cool. Alright, so as x increases by 1, the y values also increase by a factor of 2. So in other words, okay, you multiply by 2 to get the next number. There you go. Oh, I move it too far. All right, so that's what's describing our table of values. And that's only for the parent exponential function, meaning that's the most basic one, where the value here of the base is 2. Okay, so let's try to graph it, shall we? Okay, can you go to draw? Go to draw right here. Okay, now you click on a pen, choose whatever color you want. I want to pick, okay, I want to pick red. I'm going to make it thick so you can see the dots. Okay. Tell me when you're ready. Get a pen, choose a color, choose a thickness if you want. So how am I going to graph it? So when I graph it, it says when x is 0, y is 1. So remember, this moves horizontal, this moves vertical. So here's your x equal to 0. When x is 0, I go up 1. So put a dot right here. That's your 1. You see your dot? Did I make my dot thick? Super thick. That's fine. Okay, so when x is 0, y is 1. We gotta do it again. When x is 1, you go up to 2. So this is 0, 1 to the right, up 2, 1, 2. That's your dot right there. Okay, keep going. What's next? 2 to the right, and then 4 up. So 1, 2, up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. You think it's gonna be straight? You see that 2, 4 point right there? It kind of, you know, hurt. Nah, it's not straight. Oh, you're done, huh? Okay. Wait up. What am I doing next? So 3 to the right, 8 up. 1. Oh, this is hard for my eyes. 1, 2, 3, and then I go 8 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom! Okay, you can see it's not straight. Alright, one last. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8, 9, 12, 13, 14, 15. There you go. Alright. Now try to connect your graphs. Try, oh my god. Okay. Oh, you can do a better job at that. Okay, it should be like that. All right, so that's your graph for the parent exponential function. Can you describe it for me in the chat pod? Can you tell me what you see? Yeah, don't focus on Mrs. Arciaga's like scribble over there, okay? Okay, so can you tell me in the chat what you see in the graph that we just created? Can you describe that for me? Anybody? What do you see? Tell me what you see. Is it straight? Is it curved? Is it going up? Is it going down? Up. Very good. Now, if you're wondering if it's always like that, the answer is no. Okay? Only for the parent function. Now, what's the shape? Is it straight or curved? Is it straight or curved? It's a curve. Very good. Okay. I'm gonna mention some of the power words from last semester. Is it discrete or continuous? Ooh, let me see if you guys remember that. Is it discrete or continuous? Well, you answer first, and then I'll explain the difference if you forgot. What's your pick? Is it discrete or continuous? Okay, you probably wonder, how do I spell that? Okay, put 1 if you think it's very good, Anna. It's continuous. Okay, because the curve, or the dots are connected, right? Yeah, if they are just random points like a scatter plot, then it's discrete. That's awesome. Okay, let's move down. Where are we? Oh, I like this. Okay, so we're still gonna, do we draw? No, we're gonna write. Okay, so click on text. You have to figure out whether the table is linear or exponential. So now we're trying to compare what we just learned now and what we had last semester. How do we know if it's linear or exponential? Well, let's try. Can you tell me by how much these numbers are changing? By how much are they changing? Anyone? How do I go from 8 to 4, from 4 to 2, from 2 to 1? How do I do that? Do I add, do I subtract, do I multiply, do I divide? Like from, if I have 8, how do I get to 4? Subtract? Subtract how much? Subtract 4, but do I also subtract 4 to get to 2? If no, then we have to change subtract. Uh-huh. Our choices are either we're adding, we're subtracting, we're multiplying, or we're dividing. Okay. So if you subtract 4, it may be true for the first, but not for the next one, then that's not the answer we're looking for. So how do your y values change? Excuse me. Divide by 2. Very good. Divide by 2. So in other words, you get 1/2, right? You get 1/2, correct? So you divide by 2. Uh-huh. So if you're multiplying by a common number or you're dividing by a common number, then this is exponential. Exponential because, okay, you divide by 2 to get the next y value. Okay. If you divide or multiply, it's exponential. But if you add or subtract, it's linear. Okay, tell me how this one goes. How do I go from 3 to 7, 7 to 11, 11 to 15? What do I do? What do I do? Plus 4. Very good. So add 4. And that's true for all, right? So then what is it? Linear or exponential? Linear or exponential? Linear. So linear is the add 4. And I just write that. The add 4 to get the next y value. Okay, next. Oh, look at this. 12 to 9. 9 to 6. 6 to 3. Linear, exponential. Linear. Okay. Why? linear. Oh, okay. Okay, where's my text box? Maybe I'll put it here. Okay, so linear. Why? What's the pattern? From 12 to 9, 9 to 6, 6 to 3. So what are we doing? Are we adding? Are we subtracting? Are we multiplying? Are we dividing? Negative 3. So in other words, we minus 3. Yeah? Okay. So we subtract 3. Oh, no. Okay. So subtract 3. Okay. One last. Ooh, look at that. From, excuse me, from 0.125, it becomes 0.5. From 0.5, it became 2. From 2, it became 8. How do I answer that? How do I answer that? This is weird. So if there's like a text box here, it's not gonna let you add another text box on the other side. So then maybe I could just, okay, there you go. Alright. So is the last one linear or exponential? And why? Okay, how do you do it if there's a decimal? Maybe you look at the ones that you know very well, like from the 2 to the 8, right? How do you go from 2 to an 8? How did the 2 become an 8? How did the 2 here become an 8 on the last one? Times it by 4. Good. So now Shalia and others, see if the times thing by 4 also works for these. If you times this decimal by 4, do you get this? If you times this by 4, do you get 0.5? Yes or no in the chat pod, please? If you multiply 0.125 by 4, do you get 0.5? Can I have a yes or a no in the chat, please? Try it out in your calculator. Because Shalia said from 2, you times it by 4, you get an 8. So it should be the same pattern for all of them. So if I times this by 4, do I also get 0.5? If yes, then we know we got the answer. If no, then we need to think some more. Okay. Am I getting a yes or a no in the chat pod? Is 0.125 times 4 equal to 0.5? Yes or no in the chat pod? Yes. Very good. Okay, and you can also tell 0.5, right? That's 50 cents. If you times it by 4, you're going to get $2, right? Okay, so then Shalia was right. Uh-huh. Very good, Anna, for verifying that. So the pattern here is times by 4. So then does it make it a linear or exponential? Does it make it a linear or exponential? Linear or exponential? In the chat pod, please. If you times by 4, it's exponential. Very good. Because you multiply by 4. Okay, it's really important for you to know whether it's linear or exponential, because there will be questions in the future where it says write a function. Then how do you know what function to write? Yeah? So you have to figure out first what type it is before you can write a function. Okay, how do I clear the ink on this one? Anyway, I'll figure that out later on. Okay, here we go. One last before we go. Evaluate the function for the given value of a y exponential. So every time we multiply or divide by a certain number, the function is exponential because it's growing faster or it's going down faster. Yeah. But if you're just adding or subtracting a number to get to the next y value, that's linear. That's linear. Okay. All right. So now one last before we go. You have to evaluate, meaning evaluate means you change the x to the given number. You change the x to the given number. Okay. So for example here, y equals 3, but x, they want me to use 5, so 3 to the 5th power. Can you tell me what that is? Tell me what that is. 3 to the 5th power. You can also do that in your head or use your Desmos. What's 3 to the 5th power? 243, according to Emily. That's great. You multiply 3 5 times. Okay, next one. Y is equal to 1 over 4 to the 3rd power. If you remember loss of exponents, that's actually when we distribute the 3, right? So 1 to the 3rd power over 4 to the 3rd power. So what's the final answer? So what's the final answer? What is 1 times 1 times 1? The top will just become 1, right? Good. And then what's the bottom? 4 times 4 times 4. What's the bottom? What is it? 64. Very good. Okay, one last. Y equals 3. Okay, your homework is to finish the puzzle if you haven't done it yet. And the grades are due Wednesday next week. So if you want to get something graded, you got to do it, you know, by Saturday. I will grade on Saturday evening. So after 5 p.m., whatever you do won't get graded until the next grading period. So if you want to get it counted by Wednesday, you have to get it done by Saturday, 5 p.m. Okay, so here we go. 3 and then 4. We got to change the x to the 4th power. So how do you do this? You go 4 times 4 times 4 times 4. Whatever that is, you got to multiply it to 3. Or if you enter this in the calculator, it will give you the answer right away. So what is this equal to? Okay, so this is 256, right? But you again have to multiply by 3. So what's the final answer? 768. There you go. All right, so I hope like we learned how to know whether a function is linear or exponential and how to evaluate using exponents. We will continue graphing on Monday. Please do any makeup work that you're missing so they can be included in the 5th week progress report. Okay?